A couple weeks ago, we made the 7-hour round trip to Middlesbrough and back, ticking off another ground on our quest to complete the 92. The Riverside Stadium is of course home to Middlesbrough Football Club, and if you've been there before, you'll have been greeted by those beautiful red gates outside the front of the stadium. Of course, those gates have seen it all. They witnessed the highs and lows over the years, but they were originally located at today's destination, what was Ayresome Park. A stadium rich in history, not just for Middlesbrough. Obviously Middlesbrough being founding members of the Premier League in the 92-93 season. They played their season in the Premier League here, but also a deep English football history, because this was one of the host stadiums for the 1966 World Cup, the only one we've won, and more famously when North Korea would beat Italy in a massive upset. I know beating Italy in 2026 is nothing to brag about, but back then it definitely was. As I mentioned, this site is historic for all football fans, not just from Middlesbrough. 3 FIFA World Cup games involving North Korea, Italy, Chile and the Soviet Union. We mentioned the highs and lows for Borough fans. Yes, they were founding members of the Premier League when it began in 1992, and they played their games right here. But not long before that, in 1986, they were famously locked out of the Ayresome Park ground by bailiffs due to unpaid debts, so significant that the club almost went bankrupt.
He alone is owed more than £500,000, and it's thought other creditors, like the Inland Revenue, may still try to have the winding up order served in court tomorrow. Middlesbrough Council has now withdrawn financial support, and the situation appears to be getting worse by the minute.
The club was on a dramatic slide, and when a despairing board appointed the charismatic Malcolm Ayresome as manager in October 1982, the Borough were anchored to the foot of Division 2, and gates have slumped to 5,000, 10,000 below the break-even mark.
This morning, the club looked as though it was finished, wound up, and the latest rescue package rejected by the league. But this afternoon, the consortium trying to save football in the town announced that their latest deal had been accepted.
Obviously, we've had to cope with professional footballers, and we've had to do it a professional way. Obviously, the last week has been an absolute nightmare, not just for myself, but for the players. We didn't know where we were coming or going.
Again, guys, the contrast between new and old. Obviously, this is where Ayresome Park, the stadium, was, running along here. But you can see all the original old terraced housing. We say it in every video we come to explore old grounds. We love the fact that the old grounds were in the heart of the community, right in and amongst the terraced housing. And this is the site today. Again, pure housing. Last time I didn't actually check out that football in the ground, so let's try and track that down and piece together, or get a feeling for what it was like to be a Borough fan pre-1995. As we make our way around the site today in 2026, let's talk some more history. The ground opened in 1903, stood here for nearly a century, with the club moving to the Riverside in 95.
After 90 years, the borough may be moving out of this built-up residential area, right across to the other side of town, to this derelict site on the Riverside Park Enterprise Zone.
As we walk around here, it's hard to picture that World Cup football was once played here. Where there are houses, there were stands. Where kids now play, legends of the game were playing amongst the roar of the crowds. And as we head to the next street, someone's front garden once saw one of the ground's most iconic moments. Now I'm loving this, guys. A road called the Turnstile leading to the midfield. So again, as you'd have come down here, you'd have gone through the turnstiles towards the pitch. And again, according to Google, this is where that little football is. It's to represent the goal scored by North Korea in the exact same location or close by. So we need to keep our eyes out. surely, being the midfield, it's got to be down here. And I can see something on the floor. Is that it though? And guys, can you believe it? I think I found the football, which is literally on someone's front garden. I feel really rude doing this, but I'm sure they're used to it. That's crazy. Imagine buying a house. The blinds are up. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for it. And there it is. Someone's front garden. I do apologise if you're watching this video. So I just spoke to a nice bloke who lives over there. He's pointed out this enclosure brickwork, again a nod to the former stadium. And I won't give away his house, but Borough fans will know of a fanzine called Fly Me to the Moon. Rob, the editor, actually lives around here somewhere. I'm not going to give away his house, so it's very much still in people's hearts, this place. Of course it would be. He did say there's also some other items as well as a football. There's some goalkeeper gloves and some other bits we might have missed last time, so let's keep exploring. And that wall there, guys, looks fairly original. Was that part of the old Ayresome Park Stadium back in the day? Quite possibly. I'm loving this, guys. Clough Close, of course, nearby to here. You've got the Brian Clough statue, local lad, arguably more famous for his managerial career with Derby and then obviously later Nottingham Forest. Cloughy did actually play for Borough and then he would later go to local rival Sunderland. But only Brian Clough could go to a rival club and still be an absolute legend. I always find it really ironic when I see a no ball games sign right outside where a former football stadium used to be. It was the same at Main Road in Manchester. Obviously behind me here, again, I'm fascinated. Once again, you've got the old school terraced housing, and then on the opposite side of the road, you've got all these newer build houses, which again, I'm guessing sit on the site of the former Ayresome Park football ground. Again, I'm sure this hasn't been like this since 1995, but we always speak about this, don't we? When Everton moved from Goodison Park, when West Ham moved from Upton Park, you don't think about all the local businesses which suffer off the back of the ground moving away. Now, I'm sure a good quality butchers like this could maintain their business without a football stadium. But if you think about the cafes, the bars that used to be around here, all those would have had to close down or struggle through a lack of trade on match day.
Full credit to the players. The players are the people that produce the results at the end of the day. And if they produce good results, then the public are going to come and support those players. And I honestly believe we've got a great relationship between the football club, the team and the supporters this season. And long may it continue.
Once the fans let them go, it was back into the dressing room and on with the singing.
Came back from the Ashes pre-season to this. It's fantastic for everybody concerned with the club. Just brilliant.
Ayresome Park saw promotions, relegations, ordinary Saturdays that were part of all Middlesbrough fans' routine. For years, as we said, for almost a century, this place was home. And it continued to make history even as the game was being modernised. As we said, founding members of the Premier League playing their football in that very first Premier League season at Ayresome Park. So it was making history even in its older years. Now we know, as we said, they moved to the Riverside in '95, but it did take a couple more years. In 1997, this place was demolished to make room for what we see now, or what we've seen. The housing, and I do like the fact that they've put some nods to its history, names of roads, as we said, that football in the garden and various other things. So it's really good when clubs pay tribute to what was once there. But I can't help but feel sad. This isn't the first time we visited the site of a former football stadium. Main Road, Griffin Park, Upton Park, the list goes on and on and on. We visited all these different sites, but the same story remains. A sad story, because although, yes, the game moves on, we need to move with the times. Roy, you're a nostalgia merchant. We can't help but look through rose-tinted bloody glasses and look at the good old days, those fond memories attached with those lost stadiums. One day, that place means everything. The next, it's just gone, vanished into thin air. A very sad story, but it's really nice that we can pay tribute to the once glorious ground of Ayresome Park. I want you guys to share your memories in the comments below about your experiences at Ayresome Park, either as home fans or away fans visiting. What was the away section like? What were the things that we often look at in our Riders the 92 series? What was their concourse area like? Was there a concourse at Ayresome Park? What was the beer like? What was the food like? Was there even food? Did you get food poisoning? I want to hear all about it. I do live in the past. I wasn't born until 89. By that point, those Ayresome Park gates have been closed. They've been forced to play their first home game of the 86-87 season at Hartlepool. But I wish I was there. I was born in the wrong era, the wrong generation. But if you, like me, want to relive some of the past, this wasn't our first trip to Middlesbrough. Of course, check out that episode of Riders the 92 at the Riverside, but I'll also put a link below to our last visit to Middlesbrough, where we had the pleasure of speaking to the Borough Shirt Museum guys, sharing their memories and some more history about this fantastic football club. If you like looking back at the good old days, you'll love this video on 70s football, and make sure you are subscribed for more nostalgia, more English football content, as well as content football from around Europe, especially Germany. We've got it all going on here at Football Paradise, and it's a pleasure getting to share these experiences with you guys. So thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.